just said this. Well, two things. Chop Savage said that the Romans, when they would put the fighters in the Colosseum to fight with animals, those were black slaves they were putting in there, Moorish slaves they were putting in there. Do you know anything about that?
Well, in the movie, what's that movie? Gladiator.
Yes, Gladiator.
Showed that. See, a lot of stuff we got to kind of really go back. I don't even know if the Romans was Caucasian. I mean, it's kind of like I think that might have been Rome. That might have been controlled by Hannibal, and the slaves might have been them. So it's like, see, Moorish history, one thing it did, that's why my brother called it the Moorish paradigm, is that at every turn, they show us in history, whether it's Rome, whether it's America, anywhere on the planet, we always, like even with the story of Muhammad, when he first met Bilal, he was a slave with a stone on his chest. They went out there, there was a guy named Horace Greeley in 1865. He's the one that started talking about white supremacy. That's when the word white became because white was supposed to mean like they're trying to live a pure and a righteous way of life. So they like I said, they attracted that to try to say, because they like I said, they're pink. They're not. There's nobody really white. So Horace Greeley changed all the history, the geography, and the science and archaeology to make you think that every time they showed us in history, they always showed us as a slave. How can that be when you look at Shakespeare and Othello was a Roman general over the whole Navy?
But they don't want to show him as white. Do you remember when they had Lawrence Fishburne? I think he played him, and they protested. Then when they had that other black actor that we don't really see no more, he played Black Jesus on, I think it was on Broadway, and the white people had a damn fit and said Jesus wasn't no nigger, we ain't supporting this, we ain't going to the play. And I said, damn, they have tricked all these white people because they do not, and a lot of them have even said they would die before they bow to a black man and before they acknowledge that Yahshua was a Moor, that he was a prophet, that this is supposed to be a white man.
The Pope bows down to it every day and he goes in the Vatican.
And a black woman, the Black Madonna.
Baby Jesus. And they got statues. When I went to Israel, they got statues, they got paintings of the disciples, Jesus, Moses, all that, brothers, brown, the same color, the bronze brown color that they have in ancient Egypt. That's how they painted all the disciples of Jesus. All this stuff is in Israel today, unless they probably bombed it and it's not there anymore. That's one thing is rare. You can find it every now and then. If you remember, the Catholics in 1999, they came up with a thing on what Jesus would look like if he came back in the year 2000. A lot of people missed that one. He looked like Ziggy Marley, had dreads. They didn't have no like King Tut. He didn't have a mustache, but he had a beard and he had long dreads. And they said that's what Jesus. This is the most reputable Catholic magazine came out with this. In 1999, said when Jesus come back, this is what he's gonna look like. And they demonized that picture. Said, this must be some, because they had a picture of a feather showing he was also a shaman and had a yin and yang. On one side he had a yin and yang, the other side he had a feather. This was like a Catholic drawing. It was in a Catholic reputable magazine saying this is when Jesus would come back. He'd be universal and he'd be a brother with dreads, like Bob Marley or something. And they do that. You can go to the internet and still look it up today. They put that thing under the cover. So this is the Caucasian Catholics put this out. I'm telling you, they know. See, as long as we continue not to know, they'll continue to, show somebody like Hannibal. Hannibal was the ruler of Rome.
Yep.
That's why the academy is called Ananapolis, named after Hannibal. They just took the H off and called it Ananapolis instead of Hannanopolis. The city of. Point was started by us. Marine Corps was started by us. I got pictures showing the original Marines as brothers. Set up by Benjamin Banneker. We everything in America we started. Elijah Muhammad said we designed American flag.
I was going to ask you about that because this man, I forgot, he said he saw it in a book and he said that he said white people, I don't know if it was George Washington, there was other whites that were also Moors, like you said, after they had stole our science and part of the Masonic orders, the orders of higher science, they stole it and then enslaved our people. And then from what I also understand, there were other Moors that fought each other and they helped them white folks steal our stuff. They gave them vital knowledge and knowledge of our declarations and our Constitution and what the Moroccan treaties, or there were Moroccan treaties that they had the white people would not honor. George Washington would not honor these Moroccan treaties with the Moors.
That's true. George Washington wrote a letter apologizing for not paying taxes to the Moors.
So why didn't he make it right?
Because we still don't know who we are.
No, I'm talking about even back then. He didn't make it right. He didn't honor them. Then he enslaved them. And allowed the other white people in the government to establish a new government, get rid of the Moorish president that they had, and he made himself president. So I'm saying there were Moors, from what people told me, that helped other Moors have the whites set our people up and enslave them and take their rights and their property and flip it. Because they also said to me that the whites, we were classified as white because, like you said, white was not for skin color, their skin color. That's not what white means. Right.
And think about it today. As long as, see, when you get the first thing they do when a cop pulls you over, right? And it's dealing with the little law thing right here. Whenever they pull you over, they give you the opportunity to ask you, who are you? You tell them you're African American. You pull out a driver's license, which is a contract. If you don't have, when they know, see, they know that Benjamin Banneker gave them the masonry. See, we were falling. We was involved, like I said, we were pimping women. You know what I'm saying? We were doing a drug. Caucasian had nothing to do with none of this. We got to face some hard facts with ourselves. The same stuff we do in our neighborhoods right now. We were gang. This is back during the Moorish age. This is a modern way of putting it. See, the word gang means recruits for a ship. That's a plank. They had a press that would get off the ships. The ships was run by the Masons. Okay. They would ship. They have these press gangs called chiefs or sergeants. Get off the ships. If you were a youth and you was not doing something, like you wasn't in school, you wasn't having a trade, you wasn't working for your family, they would snatch you up, initiate you, and put you on a ship, and then have you do like the wheeling the ropes and kind of like the sailor stuff, the private type duties. So that's really what the gangs are really doing. They probably don't even know it yet themselves. They busy going out there collecting all the youth that's not going to school, initiating them, just really getting ready. They just waiting for the right, the right direction. Our own factories, our own schools, and stuff like that. They came about. Schools have failed us. The families have failed us. Jobs have failed us. So I'm having a hard time getting a job. I got a degree, was in the Marine Corps, worked for Housing Authority for 10 years, worked for Sprinter almost another 10 years. They give me a hard time. Well, we're not sure. Boom, it's not time for us to work work anymore. So when you you talked about yesterday about going to court. When you go to court, the first thing you got to do is you got to get the court to recognize that my name in full caps is not me. That's not me. Full caps means you're either dead or you're a corporation. This is basic stuff, but we don't know. See, when you go to court, you give them jurisdiction. The judge is nothing but a referee. You know what I'm saying? We turn up because we're ignorant. Ignorant means to ignore the facts. Because we have no knowledge of self, we don't read the laws. This stuff is. You go on the internet, you can get anything you need nowadays. When you walk through that door in a court, do you know you're on a ship? Yep. When we look at the gold fringe around it, means that ship is at war. Yes. The captain of the ship. If you can, I've done this. I've been in court before. If you're not, you have to know how to talk. First of all, they say your name. Okay, Mr. Bay. I don't know how do you spell that. Is that capital B-E-Y? That's not me. Who is it? It's not me. My name is spelled with a capital B, small case E, and a Y, which is grammatically correct. When a child is born, it's not the mother's baby anymore. It's the state's baby. We systematically turn over our children to the state right out of the womb. Right out of the womb. We sign a birth certificate. A birth certificate is commerce. Yep. That's why 16 years old, you get working papers. Right back into slavery. Yep. The Constitution says in the 13th Amendment, that you are free unless you're convicted of a crime. The question is, what is a crime? Clicking a ticket is not a crime. That is a public policy that they created under statute jurisdiction. That's what I'm saying. See, what happens is a lot of Moors get so stuck in too much law, and then you start tying yourself up with the law. You know what I'm saying? So you got to take it back. That's why I say keep it simple, keep it stupid. Go back in your Bible. The Bible really is the ultimate law book. That's why they make you put your hand on it, because it's all done with masonry. So you asked me the question of some of the Moors saw us going down. We were enslaving Caucasians. We started enslaving our own. We were pimping women, Caucasian women, black women. Yep. You know what I'm saying? Started involving ourselves in sexual acts that, unnatural. You know what I'm saying? We started killing. We started wars. We started doing drugs. All the stuff that we're doing today. Stuff came on us.